the effect of the presence of denatured alcohol in hairspray on how well the hairspray holds. The reason this project is important is because hairspray is such a commonly used product. However, most hairsprays contain a chemical called denatured alcohol, which, according to the research done, can be very irritating to the skin and, if inhaled, can cause temporary breathing difficulties. If this project became a success, it could help many hairspray users see that there is a better alternative to use than hairsprays with a chemical that can cause harm. The question asked in this project is if hairsprays with denatured alcohol hold as well as hairsprays without denatured alcohol. The hypothesis formed based off of the research done is if no denatured alcohol is put in hairspray, then the hairspray will hold the hair in place just as well as when denatured alcohol is in the hairspray. The independent variable form of this project is the hairspray used. The dependent variable is how many strands of hair come out of the bun. The constant variable is the wigs that are used, and the control variable is the trials run without hairspray on the wigs at all. The procedure performed for this project consisted of putting 2 wigs in buns, then placing each wig on a styrofoam wig holder, then spraying them with a hairspray, then setting them in front of a fan on high speed for 30 minutes. I would wash the wigs with shampoo and conditioner in between each trial. I performed the procedure 3 times for each individual hairspray. After each trial, I counted the hairs that came loose out of the bun while the fan was running. The data shows that the got-to-be glued hairspray, which I ran 3 trials for, in the first trial there were 53 loose hairs, second trial 34, and third trial 35. For the hairspray Honeybee Gardens, there were 3 trials ran as well. For trial 1, there were 26 loose hairs, for trial 2, there were 42 loose hairs, and for trial 3, there were 27 loose hairs. For the hairspray Herbal alcohol-free 3 trials were also ran. For trial 1, there were 16 loose hairs, for trial 2, there were 25 loose hairs, and for the final trial, there were 21 loose hairs. Dove Hairspray had 3 trials. For trial 1, Dove had 37 loose hairs, for trial 2, they had 42 loose hairs, and for the final trial, they had 41 loose hairs. For the Hairspray Pure Addiction, there were also 3 trials ran. The first trial, there were 50 loose hairs. The second trial, there were 43, and the last trial, there were 54. For the final hairspray flexible control, 3 trials took place. For trial 1, there were 27 loose hairs. For trial 2, there were 37 loose hairs, and for trial 3, there were 35 loose hairs. Finally, for the control variable, there was only 1 trial ran, and for that trial, there were 76 loose hairs. The average loose hairs of with and without alcohol. The hairspray without alcohol had an average of 33.7 loose hairs, and the hairsprays with alcohol had an average of 38 loose hairs. Here are the photos taken during my project. In the first photo, you'll see 2 wigs in buns before being sprayed with any hairspray. In the second photo, you'll see one of the wigs on the styrofoam wig holder completely dry before doing anything to it. In the third photo, you'll see all 6 of the hairsprays that I used in my project. And in the final photo, you'll see a picture of what the wigs look like right after being washed, all wet. The hypothesis formed was incorrect. I had hypothesized that the hairsprays would have a very similar average amount of loose hairs. However, the hairspray without denatured alcohol held the hair in place significantly better than the hairsprays with denatured alcohol. The results of this project could help many people who use hairspray daily take better care of themselves and have their hair held in place even better than before by using these hairsprays without denatured alcohol. These are my acknowledgements for my project. This is my bibliography of every resource that I used for my research for my project. And finally, this is my abstract of my project.